Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, world. And welcome to the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we conversate about the latest sports topics that has taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast to have you all tune in and participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, on Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, YouTube as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Apple Podcasts, or various places where you can find your podcast as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price, Jamar Goodman, and in this case, Ian Jones as well. Today is January 22nd, 2022, and we have yet again seen another interesting week in the sports world where we saw the Dallas Cowboys lose in dramatic fashion and then hilariously get trolled by Stephen A. Smith. I don't know, world, if you guys have had the opportunity to see this video or these videos on YouTube, but I promise you, you'll be literally rolling. It is just absolutely hilarious. And seeing the fans' reactions, they were crying, y'all, before the game was even over. It was a hell of a scene. And it really shows just how passionate Dallas Cowboy fans are. The Cincinnati Bengals, they escaped the Las Vegas Raiders and what many viewed as a terribly officiated game. As predicted on the podcast, we did believe that the Raiders would give the Bengals a good run for their money, but some felt like the referees helped them, but I think the Bengals were just a better team. The Bucks, Rams, Chiefs, and Bills all easily take care of their business during NFL Super Wildcard Weekend. Although some teams are banged up going into this division and playoff round, as well as the LA Lakers continuing their struggles. They rebounded last night against the Orlando Magic, but it's the Orlando Magic, right? And they're not looking anything close to a championship team, nor even a contender. And so with that being said, introducing my brother from another mother, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Man, good morning, Brandon. I'm doing excellent. How's everything?
Good, man. Good, man. And introducing our guest for this morning again, Mr. Ian Jones, my brother from Morgan Park, Mr. Wide Receiver, Mr. Count 'em Up, whom will be chopping it up with us for the remainder of this postseason. Thank you again, brother, for joining us and chopping it up with us. What's good with you, man?
Pretty much same old, same old. Thanks, man, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, bro. I appreciate you coming on with us. And so now, fellas, let's get into our segment this morning of first and foremost. The divisional playoff round is amongst us and approaching. And so just curious, fellas, as we begin our conversation this morning, curious, right? If you are a team, let's say, that has a higher seed and you got somebody coming into your stadium, give me a team from the NFC and an AFC that you will hope to avoid coming this weekend. And so since you are our guest this morning, Ian, let's begin with you, man. Like, if you Kansas City as example, I don't know, damn it. If you the Packers, like if you the Titans, if you the Bucks, I mean, all these road teams I swear they all got good cases here, man.
Yeah.
They all got good cases here. Which team would you hope to avoid? One from the NFC, one from the AFC out of these four matchups we got coming today and tomorrow?
Like last week, I would say the 49ers for sure. Going to the Packers, they seem pretty hot. I know Jimmy G said his shoulder was bothering. I think he injured the shoulder last week during the Cowboys game. I don't know how that's going to be for this weekend, but it would definitely be the 49ers. And to be honest, I would say the Bills. The Bills. Because I know the Titans, they got Derrick Henry coming back, so we'll see how healthy he is and how that works out. Probably have to knock some of the rust off. And the Bengals are they're a fairly young team, but they're pretty hot right now. But I would say the Bills. The Bills, I feel like they want their rematch from last year. They want their revenge back in Kansas City again. So I think the Bills are going to be real determined this week.
Yeah, and the Bills, put a whooping on the Chiefs this year. You remember, Jamar? Earlier this season, it was a butt whooping. Although there were two different teams, some people might say, compared to the beginning of the season to where they are now.
Yeah.
But the Bills, I totally understand where you're coming from. On the other hand, Jamar, who you got, bro?
Like, excuse me, like you said, you can make a case for any one of these teams. It's that, like, spectacular right now. I'm on record saying the 49ers from last week, they got it done. Just basically how their offense and their philosophy is set up. They have an advantage against the Packers and what they do. I mean, basically keep that man off the field, control the clock, able to run the ball, able to set up your boy Jimmy G with play action, find George Kittle, and let Debo be Debo, right? And as long as
those
Nick
receiver
Bosa,
backs, like those are receiver backs, Jamar, in San Francisco. Like, you see how big those guys are, y'all? Like, they look like running backs. I swear, have they played? I don't know. Jamar knows so much about football. Did Debo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk play running back at one point? Because them dudes are like, and San Francisco, they ain't even got to throw the ball damn near. But when they do, they so fast too. And they looking to knock you down every time, Ian. Like, as a receiver, they not looking, Jamar, to just run the ball, bro, and just hit the ground. They looking to run you clean over.
They are. And that's what makes Debo, especially him, so special. The fact that he has the acceleration to blow by somebody, but he also has the strength to knock a couple of heads off too at the same time. And the fact that fact that Kyle Shanahan was so brilliant to start using Debo out the backfield at times, especially when Elijah Mitchell went down along with Mostert at the beginning of the year. It's like, all right, so we got this prototype. We're gonna use you as a prototype. We're gonna set you out wide. You run your route. You do a slant in. You can be in the backfield. We can do read option. We can do this. Like, there's so many things you can do with that man, and they are like fully utilizing him. And in fact, that's the reason why they're dangerous now. And if Nick Bosa could just make one or two plays on the other side of the ball, that's all it takes. So the Packers is definitely might have their hands full here today. So, I was gonna say the Bills, but I'm gonna just make a case for the Bengals because they have like the most wonderful wide receiver in the league, by the way, Jamar Chase. But I mean, the way like you said, Ian, like Joe Burrow and them, he's been playing lights out in the last, 3 weeks to a month now.
Yeah.
And it's showing signs that when he was at LSU, like we saw that magical year. And, when the Bengals drafted him, they was, wondering, is like, are we going to get that same guy? Is he going to develop and continue to be that guy? And it's starting to show here.
Yeah.
Like this man got all these weapons. This team's been on fire. They cannot stop Jamar Chase. But you also got T. Higgins, who is probably one of the most underrated wide receivers in the whole league. You got Tyler Boyd, who's just been nothing but consistent in that slot and one of the best slot receivers in the league. You got Joe Mixon, who's been balling lights out the whole year. And you even got a couple of pass rushers on that defense that's starting to show up now. So Tennessee, like, I know Derrick Henry is going to play, but it's like we don't know what Derrick Henry we're going to get. That's the problem. Now, they play at their apex, at their peak, then Cincinnati might be in trouble, but we don't know that. But we do know one thing. Cincinnati has been playing lights out. They've been playing at their peak for the last month. So that's a team you got to be worried about.
Yeah, for sure, man. Cincinnati, it's like with them, y'all, all it really takes is sort of like remind you of the Rams. It takes one big play with them. Jamar Chase can change the game just like that. And this is crazy. He's a rookie. So I'm just sitting here thinking, y'all, like, Cincinnati got a bright future. Just you kind of keep them two together and you build around everything else, they're going to be straight, man. Because in this league, y'all, it's a quarterback-driven league. If you got a quarterback, you can just build around that. And everything else kind of just takes care of itself. And so, man, these are all very interesting matchups. But since y'all fellas are making interesting comments here of various matchups, we could go with any matchup, right? And so, y'all, I told you, Jamar, a few weeks back that I wouldn't want to play the LA Rams going into the playoffs.
Correct.
Now, Ian Jones, I don't like Matthew Stafford. I think this is, however, a very important week for him.
Yeah.
Remember in the offseason, y'all, the Rams gave up all these draft picks, okay, to be in the running to get Matthew Stafford. They went and got They went and got Cam Makers. They've been making splashes in the offseason, shored up their defense. They went ahead and during the season got Von Miller, okay? Then you went ahead and you got Odell Beckham Jr. The Rams have been all in, y'all, since the offseason on winning a Super Bowl. And they've been very, very aggressive in taking advantage of that LA market. So I got a few scenarios, y'all. Number one, I'm from the Bucks. We've been hearing y'all all week that the Bucks have been banged up. Their defensive line is banged up. Their defense is banged up, and their offensive line is really banged up. And y'all know, as football fans, Andy Jamar, the one way to beat Tom Brady is to get pressure on him. And unfortunately, the sad part is he got a man named Aaron Donald, whom is third place in the Defensive of the Year vote. And I don't know how the hell he got it, but he got it. Maybe it's because when you get double teams on him, he's still breaking through the line, y'all.
Yeah.
You got this man breaking through the line on double teams. Then on the outside, you got Von Miller. Then on the other side, you got Leonard Floyd, who found himself, by the way, in LA, by the way. He didn't do this with the Bears.
Not at all.
Found himself in LA, though. And so you got these three dogs literally coming at you, Tom Brady. On the other hand, you still got to throw somewhere near a Jalen Ramsey, which could be very dangerous. Outside of, I know he just came back, but this man is going to be a Hall of Famer, Eric Weddle. You got him in the backfield in the secondary as a safety. It's a lot to deal with. And so I know y'all, Tom Brady has won the Super Bowl last year. I know it is dangerous as hell to bet against Tom Brady, but I kid you not. If Tom Brady was to lose a football game in the playoffs, y'all, to a team, this might be it. This might be the team. It just might. And so we'll get into the picks later. But Tom Brady and the Bucks, it's gonna take y'all a better effort last year to beat the Rams, because that's how good the Rams are. This is a really, really, really good football team. And it's some heavyweight matchups taken up today and tomorrow. It's some heavyweight football. All four of these games are very heavyweight because all these matchups present opposing matchups that explosion. You got power, you got vets, you got incredible offenses that can move the ball. You got physicality. You got the best quarterbacks. You got A-Rod this weekend. You got Tom Brady. You got Patrick Mahomes. You got Josh Allen. You got the Rams in the offense. You got a young Joe Burrow. You got a physical Niners team that, as we know, y'all, any year could be a team that could win the Super Bowl based off of how they play. We've seen plenty of teams like the Niners win the Super Bowl. We've seen plenty of teams like the Titans win the Super Bowl. But it's kind of a different era now. It's more of a finesse era. And so it'll be very interesting, all of these matchups, in just a variety of ways. So I wanted to point out, fellas, the Rams and the Bucks, because if I'm the Bucks, man, I'm nervous. I'm real nervous. On the other hand, y'all, pressure. Let's talk about pressure. And so what player, y'all, is under more pressure to lead their franchise to a playoff win this weekend? And fellas, I could only think of two people. And as you know, by the way, y'all can always feel free to add in anybody, on our document. But Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers, y'all, these are the two people I can think of. And so I'm just curious from a perspective, Jamar, between Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers, which guy's under more pressure to win this weekend? Because we know both of these stories.
Absolutely. You basically asked the same question last week, and one of the guys that you mentioned here was in that same question last week.
He'll be in the net if he wins. He'll be in the-
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the guy I'm picking. Because I mean, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers loses, like, yeah, but he got one. He won before. So that's always going to be in his legacy when it comes to the Hall of Fame and everything else. Super Bowl champion is on his resume already. Matthew Stafford, on the other hand, basically based on what you said about 5 minutes ago, they basically traded the house for this man to deliver a Super Bowl. And then not to mention all the star power that they went and acquired this past, 5, 6, 7 months. Along with that, it's Super Bowl champ or bust. That's exactly what it is. So he's going to forever have pressure on him to this season to get it done. I mean, yeah, he got the monkey off his back. He got the win last week in a very impressive fashion. I think the Cardinals left the game before halftime, but that's neither here nor there. But
They didn't want to play.
No, they didn't. But no, it's definitely Matthew Stafford. He has the most pressure on him. I mean, that's the reason why we're here right now talking about him, because everything that has happened to trade the whole house and a bag of chips for Matthew Stafford. So we gonna see.
Right. And just quickly, and before you go, like, just remember, Jamar, that when you talk about the whole house, that includes Jared Goff, who led them to a Super Bowl and led them last year to the divisional playoffs. Remember, they lost to the Packers last year, but he led them to the second round last year. So I was saying, like, it's not that bad. You're right there on the crust. But sometimes, you got to do what you got to do to get to that next level. And so, Ian, your thoughts, bro?
I would say they're both equal, Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers. As far as Aaron Rodgers go, the whole saga, him leaving, and he might not show up to training camp, and then if they just say if they lose, this would be like his MO. Get to the playoffs, they don't play nobody in the regular season. Have number one seed, get to the playoffs, and it's the same thing over and over again. So I think it's a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers as well, just as well as Matthew Stafford. And like you said, Matthew Stafford, he come to LA. He basically almost has a Pro Bowl team. The Super Bowl is in LA. They basically want to do what the Bucks did last year. They want to win the Super Bowl in LA, like Tampa did in Tampa. So I would say it's equal, pretty much. But I would lean more towards Aaron Rodgers, because it's kind of been his MO for like the last what?
Decade.
4 or 5 years? Oh yeah, like a decade.
Yeah,
Get to the
he's
playoffs,
on the
lay
NFC
ahead.
Championship.
Yeah.
Outside of beating the Bears.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, let's just say if he lose, I'm gonna feel like that was kind of lucky.
I'm telling you, right? Exactly. Ian, come on, bro. Like, look, he played. What was his name, Jamar?
Well, Caleb
What was
Haney.
our backup name? Caleb Haney. I know his last
yeah.
name was with an H. I know that. Caleb Haney. He beat Caleb Haney to go to the Super Bowl, okay? And, that's the only Super Bowl you won? Aaron Rodgers? Yes, and this is coming from Bears fans, by the way, Aaron Rodgers. And so, like, that's the only thing you did, really? And thus far, you're 0-4 in the NFC Championship. And if you lose again, you'll be 0-5 if he go to the NFC Championship. But if he lose in the divisional, it's even worse. Like, it'll be even worse. And so, just to comment, y'all, and Ian, Big Josh, who brother played in the NFL. He played with us football, Jamar. His brother played with us at Morgan Park 2, went to the NFL. Josh, remember, he played at Eastern, him and Regner. They played with Jimmy G.
Mm-hmm.
They played with Jimmy G. And so Josh coming on and being excited about Jimmy G is stating that Jimmy G is going to torch the Packers to the tune of 4 touchdown passes. And so just curious, Jamar, what do you think of that comment?
I mean, if you look, you see that little heart there. That I put that there. So, I would love to see it. Who wouldn't? And as far as this Bears Nation wouldn't love to see that. I would love to see it.
Right. Yeah.
I know Jimmy's your guy. I get it. But I mean, if he deliver, you ain't gonna hear me talk bad about him next week.
Yeah, man. But man, just Jimmy G, y'all. Like, I get y'all point though, because like Ian, watching him last week in that second half was like,
Yep, it was a
I was
tale of
so
two
nervous.
halves.
Look, I was sitting there praying. This is a confession. I was praying that they win because I'm like, if they lose, Jamar and Jay they gonna ride me. Cause like he was just terrible. It was so bad to what Cal had Shanahan like, just run a damn ball. Like, don't you do nothing. Don't do nothing, Jimmy G. Just run the ball, okay? And we go shut a face.
Oh, yeah, he literally was about to give them the game away. Like, that's the only reason why the Cowboys even had a chance at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had a chance though when Jimmy G started playing bad Jimmy G, as you say, because you said that a few weeks ago. Like bad Jimmy G came, and like when it came, man, it gave the Cowboys just all type of hope. They went from crying to the game being over to literally, we got a chance, y'all. We got a chance. Like that's what happened the entire game. It was crazy to see. That was a crazy game. You about to say something, Jamar?
No.
Okay. And so yeah, man, I'm with y'all, man. Like both of these guys got a lot of pressure, man. But I gotta go with damn it. It's hard. It's hard. I would say Matthew Stafford because just the Jared Goff thing for me. If you don't get past the second round, I guess this whole season you just had a lot of fun, a lot of statistics, a lot of Pro Bowlers, a lot of big names, but you didn't win a Super Bowl. And so this is a huge game, man. Legacies are on the line. Tom Brady don't like to lose. And then this story with Matthew Stafford. But then if we could have Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers for the NFC Championship next week, that'd be a great story too. So it's a lot of good scenarios right here, man. And so in this case, fellas, we've talked about lower seeds this weekend having a chance to upset the higher seeds. And so let's get into the picks. Arthur was good, bro. Arthur went to grammar school, man. Let's get into the picks because somebody gotta win. So and bro, the Bengals at the Titans. Who you got for this one?
Bengals at the Titans. Bias pick. You know, I love Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. They hot right now. The Titans got everybody coming back, but I don't know how that's going to be. They might have to knock the rust off, and I think it'll be a good game. But I got the Bengals in the upset. They'll be upsetting the number one seed. I got the Bengals in the upset.
Ooh. I don't knock it, man. It could happen. Jamar, what you think, bro?
Hey, just before I pick, just want to point out I was 6 for 6 last week. Just want to throw that out there.
Oh, nice.
No, this is tough. I mean, just because you mentioned like the rust and Henry is back. Don't know what Henry we're gonna get, but I do know one thing. I feel like the Titans will come prepared just because Mike Vrabel has somehow, some way, miraculously got this team, to be 12-5 this year, to be the one seed. They're the one seed for the reason, even with a bunch of adversity. Their run defense is actually pretty darn good. So you're basically going to have Joe Burrow have one of those excellent games, which he has been playing. However, I don't think Cincinnati can stop the run like that. And this might be the game Derrick Henry, probably the perfect game for Derrick Henry to get his footing back. So with that being said, I'm going to take Tennessee.
Yeah, I expect fireworks, and this could be probably the best game of the weekend, low key. But it seemed like it'd be 4 great ones. But I got to go with Tennessee too, man. Like, I just think when I look at the identities, y'all, and I look at playoff football around this time of year, I just see the Titans being a more physical team. I see the Titans literally imposing their will on the Bengals. Derrick Henry, y'all, I know he'll be a little rusty, but when Derrick Henry get warmed up in that second half, as he always does, he always get warmed up in the third and fourth quarter. It's a lot to deal with, and so I think the Titans y'all just got too many weapons. They too physical. They just the better overall team for me, and so I'm gonna go with the Titans. But I tell you what, and if the Bengals start off fast, it's gonna put a lot of sweaty palms.
It's gonna be
Y'all
tough.
know I play off football, where we've been watching this game for a while, and so generally, y'all know, fellas, if a team like the Bengals get off to a fast start and you get sweaty palms and you start making mistakes, you start getting desperate, start trying to throw the ball, do stuff outside of your normal identity, the Bengals will cash in on that.
That means Tannehill will have to like play
Bring
up.
them back.
Yeah, and I don't know about that. I know he's an ultimate game manager. I don't know if he can win you a game, but I would say this. That means number 2 and number 11 need to step up too.
Right. That's a good point, because I feel like they really have had very quiet seasons.
I mean, especially Julio. I know AJ Brown had maybe 1 or 2 games. I'm like, okay, I remember who you are, but both of them would need to show up.
Yeah.
Right. They would definitely have to show up, because they have not really showed up this season. And that's crazy. The Titans still winning games. Like I think do we underestimate y'all the Titans defense sometimes?
I mean,
because I think they really been carrying them.
I mean, Titans front 7 is really solid. It's the secondary that's questionable. They can get in the secondary, but if they can play somewhat halfway decent in the secondary, then a lot of teams are gonna have problems against them.
Yeah.
Right. That's why Jamar got the Bengals in an upset, a lot of people. Because they feel like the Bengals will expose their secondary.
Yep. Because it's basically, that like passing or bust. Like Joe Burrow's either gonna light them up, or if he doesn't, then they're screwed. But their run defense is gonna hold Joe Mixon, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is gonna be a contrast of 2 fights to the core, man. I'm gonna go with the Titans at home just because they're at home. If they was in Cincinnati, I'd go with Cincinnati. But I think the Titans will squeak this one out. But I can't wait to watch it at 3:30. The Niners at the Packers. Man, imagine Aaron Rodgers losing the day. Just imagine everything on Monday, even tomorrow, even tonight. So, just curious, and do the Niners go in and pull off a big upset?
I think a good game, but I think A-Rod gets revenge back.
He's 0-3. Yeah, you're right. He's 0-3 against the Niners in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think A-Rod gets his revenge back at home. It's gonna be cold.
7 degrees.
Yeah, 7 p.m. kickoff is. I got A-Rod in the revenge.
Yeah.
Just like you mentioned, Packers Aaron Rodgers has not beat the Niners whatsoever in his playoff career against them. You know what? Like this Niners team is completely different when they played them the first time, and the Niners gave them problems the first time around. They only won by a field goal, right? No, 1 point. 1 point. Game-winning field goal.
28-27.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't think they've seen this version of Deebo Samuel. I don't think they want any problems. And I feel like the Niners' toughest team that they played in the last 2 months in which they've been hot was the Rams the last week of the year. And so, with all that being said, I am taking the Niners to upset this. I just think they're just playing hot football, and I'm not even being biased. I just think matchups and how they're playing. I feel like Aaron Rodgers can't make a mistake out there.
Wow.
I'm doing it.
Man.
I can see that.
Yeah. Man, this is a hard one, man.
I know you're picking the Packers. I mean, I get it. I really get it. It's cool.
You know me. I'm picking the Packers. and the reason why I'm picking the Packers is because the frozen tundra, the Niners are coming from the West Coast. They got to cross but I mean, we've seen the Niners, right, Jamar, going to Green Bay and beat them in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So can we really, really sit there and say, the cold, They're gonna be freezing.
I honestly I don't like. I feel
That
like
don't really matter to NFL. I think that's
No.
kind of overrated to NFL players a little bit. Y'all
Dude,
right?
When you got a person like George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, does that really matter?
No.
Right, and physical football travels in any weather.
Any weather.
Yep.
It don't matter. Any weather. You know, as stated, when I watched the Niners, y'all, early this year, I was watching on YouTube and I was looking at a video and I was listening to the sounds and the music on my headphones and I was like, damn, they physical. You could literally hear the pads and everything bouncing off the microphones. This is how physical the Niners are. And some coaches, y'all, I think, Jamar, like some coaches, they build their brand or their identities for this time of year. They could kind of care less if they lose in the regular season. They just want to be healthy right now.
Correct.
They just want to have the identity right now because that's really all that matters. You know, is who's going to care if you go 13-3 and lose in the second round? You know, like, okay, that's nice. But I'd rather be this 10-7 team that come in with an identity and that, you know, and the Niners we've seen, this is the type of team that'll come and win the Super Bowl. Like,
I agree.
man, bro. I'm gonna go with the Niners.
Oh.
I'm gonna change my pick. Because if Aaron Rodgers can't get, if y'all find a way to eliminate his main target, then the Packers ain't that hard to beat. If you find a way to eliminate that Davante Adams A-Rod connection, the Packers are not that hard to beat. On the other hand, though, the Packers defense is overrated. No, sorry, they're underrated. And the Niners, they got a banged up Nick Bosa and a banged up Warner.
Yeah.
Could that play a role? And could Aaron Rodgers take advantage of that? This is a hard game to pick. And I'm sorry, y'all, for taking up y'all precious time. I'm stuck, man. I'm stuck.
So while you're thinking, let me just read a couple of comments here. So Deshaun said, high key, the 49ers are the most physical offensive team in the NFL, and I like their approach, but it comes to Jimmy G and a bad man Aaron Rodgers, I'm taking the Packers in Lambeau. And then Mr. Jonathan Abernathy said Packers by
30. Just not seeing these comments, man. Like, man, yeah, and I like that, but thank y'all for y'all input, Deshaun, and go ahead, Jamar.
It's like, so I think what it comes down to as far as the Packers offense, it's like more so, can they pass protect against the 49ers front four? Can they do that? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, aren't they like one of their tackles down to like third string or something like that?
Yep.
So, I mean, I know for the most part they do, but I just know anytime that a front four can get to a quarterback, especially one that, you know, that stays in the pocket, I know he can roll out, but he's not as Aaron Rodgers-esque as he used to be in that regard. But either way, if they can apply pressure on him, it just makes things a lot more difficult. And I think Nick Bosa can make one or two plays to do so. That's just my opinion.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Niners, but Lord knows, I mean, Packers could totally win this game too. We'll find out tonight. I don't know. I legitimately don't know. I wish it was some games where you just don't know. Like, I don't know with this one. The Rams and Bucks. I'm having a hard time with this. I'm having really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time because it's Tom Brady. We're talking Tom Brady. And how many times, Jamar, have we did our homework and picked against Tom Brady? And I guarantee you, the 5 people that's watching with us, they sitting there knowing like they've probably picked against Tom Brady as well. And that is some dangerous stuff to do. He's probably literally sitting there knowing that people view him as an underdog. And that probably got that man blood boiling so bad right now. Like so bad. And he's like, haven't I done this enough for y'all? Like, I'm not trying to compare Tom Brady to Jesus, Jamar, but you ever look at the miracles done in your life or the things done in your life, and you be like, Jesus be saying to you, like, haven't I done this for you multiple times? Don't you believe by now? Don't you have enough evidence? Don't you have enough evidence that's seen? And that's sort of like Tom Brady, like, haven't I beat great teams? Haven't I come back against the Falcons? Haven't I beat haven't I beat so many great teams? Haven't I beat T.O.? Like, haven't I beat the greatest show on turf? Like, this is not enough. Like, this is not enough. And y'all still, literally, a lot of people still believe that I'm going to lose. Like, how disrespectful is this? Like, so, Ian, bro, is this the last? I don't say it's probably I think Tom Brady come back next year. But if he lose and he lose in a bad way, I mean, if he lose in a bad way, he gonna come back next year. But like, could the Rams come in? The Rams with all the stuff that they've been doing, man. Like they did it for this moment. They did it for today, right? And so, do you got the Rams or the Bucs?
I'm going Rams. Rams at the upset.
Okay.
Rams in the upset. Bucks banged up. It won't be like playing Philly last week. Rams get out to a fast start. Score touchdowns, not field goals. Taking the Rams.
Yeah,
All right, so before I make my pick, did you really just put Tom Brady and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in the same sentence? Did you really just do that? Did you really just do that? I'm sitting here baffled. Wow. I'll let you think about that one.
I'm not comparing him to Jesus. I'm just stating, like, you know.
Okay. All right.
Haven't I done this before?
Yeah. All right, so these two teams met before. Rams laid the smackdown on the Bucks. These two teams are completely different than before.
Yeah.
For the better and worse. Bucks got worse. Rams got a lot better. Let me ask you this: who's guarding Cooper Kupp? Who's guarding OBJ? Matter of fact, the X Factor. Who's guarding Cam Akers?
Yeah, amazing story.
Like, who comes back from Achilles injury
last week? Did y'all see him last week? How physical he was?
To the point I had to make a Facebook status about this man. Like, dude, like, who comes back from Achilles injury in less than 6 months to come out there and do what he did?
Right. And run physical and have a good game. That was
yes. Head and shoulders the best back on that team. He makes Sony Michel look like a puppy out there.
He was doing everything: run block, running hard, catching the
ball.
Rock. I'm like, this the guy that, like, no wonder why they were so excited in the offseason.
Exactly. They was ready. And so, look, man, Rams gonna dominate this game. Bucks just don't have enough. They're too banged up. The moment I saw Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown get kicked off the team and everything else with the secondary, and they don't have enough juice to get it done. And the Rams, like you said, are the team that you don't want to play against. And the Rams is probably the most dangerous road team this weekend because Bucks gonna stay home. They losing. Rams.
So Chris Godwin, he's off the team now?
No, he out for the year.
Out for the year.
Okay, right. He's hurt. Okay. When did he get hurt? A few weeks ago?
It was
this was a while ago.
No, week 15, week 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. That is a big piece of information. Because no wonder why I haven't seen him on the field. I've been seeing a lot of other guys. I'm like, where the hell is Chris Godwin?
It's basically Mike Evans and a bunch of somebodies that's trying to be somebody.
Yeah, I get it. And so, yeah, the Bucks, they just don't appear to have enough right now. Like you say, man, the Rams they're ramming right now. I'm going to have to go with the Rams too, now that y'all persuaded me. But it's funny, y'all. Look, Tampa Bay's favored to win. So maybe these folks are not counting out Tom Brady because this say clearly Tampa Bay is favored to win. Because Tom Brady gets out the ball, y'all, so fast. This is his keys to his 7 Super Bowls. He gets out the ball in 2.5 seconds or less. That makes it so hard, y'all, for Eric Weddle, a Jalen Ramsey, or anybody to defend anything. And so I'm just go ahead, Jamar.
The ball got to come out, but the receivers got to catch the ball. Receivers got to get open. That was a problem last week. The Eagles, the Eagles were just happy to be there at one point last week. That's what it felt like. But they still had Bashar Perriman dropping balls, and it took a while for Gronk to get open. And I mean, Evans was the only one that was really killing them. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be an uphill battle for them. I don't even know how they even got them favored right now. Matter of fact, let me go to my sportsbook app.
Yeah. And so Tom Brady has done this plenty of times, man. And so I literally sit here and just dream of all the scenarios, y'all. A Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes rematch, a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers rematch in a championship game, or a Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, both great stories, NFC championship. This is all the scenarios. And so, all right, y'all, for the Niners and Packers, I'm going to go with the Packers. I'm going with the Packers. And for the Rams and Bucks, I'm going to go with the Rams. They're just a better team. They're just a better team. The Rams can mess around with it all. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams. And so I'm going to have to go with that because I'm taking too much time trying to pick these very difficult games. The Bills and the Chiefs. This is another hard one. And so, Ian, I'm gonna let you start us off, bro, because I feel like Bill Mafia is trending. But it's Patrick Mahomes they playing against.
Yeah, so I see this game going 2 ways. It'll probably be the most high-scoring game of the weekend, or it'll be the lowest-scoring game of the weekend. But I'm going Bills. I'm going Bills in a revenge tour. I'm going Bills in a revenge tour. If they play like they played last week, I mean, they look determined. They're like a determined team from the gate. And I know, they going back to Kansas City. I know they don't want to feel that hurt no more, but Kansas City looked good last week. Patrick, they firing on all cylinders at the right time. They looking like they'll go to Super Bowl again. So, like I said, I can see this game going 2 ways. It'll be a defensive game or it'll be an offensive shootout. I'm going to go with the Bills for the upset and revenge tour. I think the Bills going to want it a little more.
Right. Just a quick comment, y'all, from Deshaun. He stated, Bills Mafia stand up. I feel that this would be their year. Josh Allen completely dismantled the Bill Belichick defense and was borderline flawless. He was, Deshaun. They made history, Jamar. They were the only team in NFL history in a game. I don't think this is the playoffs. This is a game that didn't punt at all. They literally, they didn't even kick a field goal, right? They just scored touchdowns on every possession.
Except for the last one where they took a kneel. Every possession was a touchdown. It was basically a perfect offense.
Perfect game.
Perfect offense. That's unbelievable. Who does that? I feel like Diggs will dominate that secondary, and both Allen and Singletary will chip in enough in the run game. As stated, y'all, when I went to the Bills and Bears game, y'all, Jamar, the team that I saw from the Bills, I was saying it back then. I'm like, damn, they good. Like, they are really, really, really good. Like, and here they are. Here they are. It's such an oxymoron that they're here, right? No, it's not. They're a really good team. And so, Jamar, Bills or Chiefs? We once remember, Jamar, like, how disrespectful can we be? we once had it here on the podcast that we would never pick against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, we did that for quite a while, and it worked in our favor too, for the most part. Oh boy, dude, this is rough, man. Like I'm seriously conflicted. This how you felt with the last couple picks. I feel right now. I feel it with my chest. My heart hurts.
I still feel this way too, man.
Like they shouldn't even be meeting up so soon. It feels like.
Right. It's like early. It's early. You know, it's early, man. I was hoping the Bengals will play the Chiefs or something.
Yeah, for real. Oh man. I'm gonna do it. I'm going Bills Mafia. I'm gonna do it. Well, for reasons that was already stated that I was gonna state, just between you and what Deshaun said, I mean, and what Ian said, that's why I'm picking the Bills. Picking the Bills.
Right. Man, this is crazy to believe that I was crazy enough to pick against Tom Brady, to a certain extent, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes all in the same weekend. Do we really know how great these three quarterbacks are? Like, these are great quarterbacks. But y'all, guess what? Josh Allen's a great quarterback. Joe Burrow's a great quarterback. Jimmy G's not a great quarterback. But Matthew Stafford's a great quarterback. And so, although these other guys are Hall of Famers, these other guys could be Hall of Famers down the road too. And so that's what makes this so difficult. But I'm going to go with the Bills as well. Although Kansas City's favored to win here, I'm sure it's by a very, very, very small margin. And I just think y'all, the Bills will overpower the Chiefs, if that makes sense. This team is built for the playoffs too. They are very physical too. They're very physical too. And I think they don't get enough credit for that. But I'm gonna go with the Bills, and I'm gonna leave it at that. This will be a fun game though. I think this one, y'all, could turn around and be one of the greatest games of the weekend, because even though the Bills are probably the better team, Patrick Mahomes, I feel like he's going to be letting that thing fly at Tyreek Hill, 70 yards. This is going to be a good one. It's going to be a really good one, man. And so I'm looking very forward to watching this one as well. But I'm going to go with the Bills because I feel like the Bills, I just like that train right now. I like that train. I like the way it's rolling. And so, world, don't hold it against us all the way. But we had some tough games to pick this weekend. Really did. So, with that being said, fellas, we've talked a lot of NFL this morning. Just curious, any more thoughts, fellas, before we talk some NBA?
No, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we addressed.
Yeah. We'll see, man. So, we got our picks in, y'all. All right, let's talk a little bit of NBA, y'all. So, after Russell Westbrook's benching this week against the Indiana Pacers, and Lakers now at 23-23 this season. They're still eighth in the West, at 500. Not really most people's expectations. And so I'm just curious, Jamar, like, and you can jump in as well. And like, what's the biggest problem with the Lakers this season? Is it potentially Russell Westbrook and his style of play? Like,
I don't think he's the biggest problem. He's definitely a problem. That's without a doubt. We're not going to dismiss that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem is the people responsible for putting together this roster. I think that's the biggest problem.
right.
Instead, like, you had the opportunity to probably trade for Buddy Hield and some complimentary pieces. Instead, you went out and traded for Russell Westbrook. Like, that doesn't compliment you at all. It seemed like you more so worried about big names and star power instead of actually trying to fit together as a team. It seemed like you try to put together an all-star team instead of putting together an actual team that works with the pieces that you already got in place. You basically traded away your defensive prowess and hustle players just for big names. That's my biggest beef with them. So Pelinka and to a certain degree LeBron, like you all, made this bid. Now you got to lay in it because I don't. Outside of maybe possibly trading Westbrook for John Wall, and I don't even know why in the world the Houston Rockets would even do that to begin with. Outside of that, like you're pretty much stuck. That's what it is. So I mean, yeah, Russ is a problem. Yeah, maybe Frank Vogel is a problem. Maybe the president of the glass fraternity, Anthony Davis, is a problem because he can't stay on the court. But it's the whole roster in general. It's like how the heck has Stanley Johnson been your second or third best player since he's been signed on the team?
It's terrible.
Like where's Malik Monk? Where's Carmelo? Where's Ariza? All these has-beens. Like where they at? So Dwight Howard, I don't even see him on the court half the time. So I don't know, man.
I think that's part of the biggest problem with the Lakers, Jamar, is they got too many has-beens. They got too many has-beens and not enough youth. And they just seem like a team that's really just built for the playoffs only. They're not built for the regular season. They just built that roster, Jamar, just to be ready for the playoffs. My whole point is this. First, you got to make the playoffs. I expect them to make it. But number two, you don't want to just make the playoffs as a 7 8 seed, y'all, and be a lower seed and have to go on the road all the time. You had to play a Phoenix or Golden. That's not safe. Like, I don't know if you want to be in that position. And so this has seemed like what the Lakers kind of want. And I guess they confident enough to say, y'all, yeah, we could be a 7th to 8th seed, but we got vets.
There's no seven in the history of basketball. A 7 or 8 seed has never won a championship. Like, get out of here.
I don't even see him get out of the first round. Damn it! Like, I've seen the Grizzlies upset the Mavericks years ago, or the Golden State Warriors upset Dirk. But like, that's the only time I've ever really seen. And then
they ain't get far after that.
Right after that, it was the Nuggets. Remember the Kim Baby talking about holding the ball on the ground. Yeah, upset the Supersonics. These are like the only moments I ever remember, like a 7 or 8 seed beating a higher seed. And so it does not happen. And so, yeah, man, it ain't looking too good in Lakerland. And what you think, bro? Like, what's the biggest problem with the Lakers? This indeed is a disappointment. 23 and 23, eighth in the West. Getting blew out by everybody. Barely even beat the Magic last night. Barely beat them.
I've been saying this all year. I think it's the number one thing is the effort on defense. I think it's defense. I think it all comes down to defense. I mean, they just simply don't play defense. If you look at their scores, I mean, they give up 115 points to any and everybody. And then on the nights they don't score or nobody has a good scoring night, they end up losing. Or, when you watch the Lakers, LeBron, he normally gets off to a good start. He's hot. He scores about 15, almost 20 in the first half. And then you can tell he kind of scales back and kind of try to get everybody else involved, and had them have their time. And, as he should, he's getting older, He's the biggest name on the team, but technically it's not his team. They can't depend on a 36, 37-year-old to carry them through the season. He doesn't have it. Yeah, he's been consistent these last 20 years, but he's just not going to be enough to carry them like he's 23-year-old LeBron in Cleveland again. It's just not going to happen. And so then, they go on this run and they're in a close game and halftime, and then the third quarter come and they don't play no defense. Nobody else scores, and by that time they down 15-20. And then you look up, they losing. They might go on a run depending on if they have a little effort on defense, but they end up losing or winning a close game to people they should just blow out.
I mean,
Melo didn't. I don't know. He kind of fizzled out. He started off the season hot. He was scoring about 25 off the bench, and he then kind of fizzled out. LeBron and Malik Monk's chemistry has been really good lately for whatever reason. I think Russ has got his. Sometimes he gets the turnovers down as of lately, but he's just not shooting well. It's just, I think he's paying attention to what everybody's saying. I think that really bothers him. And I think, like you guys said, I just think it's just not working. I think they put this team together, like you said, as far as big names. I know it's LA, and they want to put seats in the stands and things like that, but I just don't think it's working. I don't think it's working. They might make it to the playoffs, 7th to 8th seed, but like you said, who wants to make the playoff in the 7th to 8th seed? They will have to play Phoenix or one of those number one teams, and they play Phoenix again. They don't get swept because Phoenix just got their number. I don't even think they beat Phoenix in the last 2 years. They might have beat them once in the playoffs or twice, but Phoenix just got their number. I mean,
no, 2 games, 4-2.
Yeah. I mean, everybody gonna play their best against them. It's the Lakers. They ain't playing LeBron and Anthony Davis. Charles Barkley calls street clothes. He's just street clothes.
That's his problem. He's always in street clothes. The president of the Glass Association. You should totally put that out there, Jamar. President of the Glass Association.
I gotta start using that.
The Glass fraternity, man. There's a couple other people on that Glass fraternity right now, but he is the president and the CL. He is both. He is one and the same. He is 1 on 1.
It's crazy, man. As talented as he is.
But no, what you've been, everything you said is all facts. Like the defense, like this is why, as bad as, KCP played at times last year, he always gave effort on defense.
Mm-hmm.
You let Caruso walk and pay THT. The rest is history there. We loving him over here. And I see why the Lakers fans miss him right now. No, but I mean, you're absolutely right. Like it is a lot of things wrong. And then just to go back to Russell Westbrook, I think that his lower leg injuries over the years is starting to really like hinder him because in his mind, he probably still think he's the same player, but he's not. He doesn't elevate as much on jump shots or get up on those dunks anymore. And that's probably the reason why his shooting percentage is going way down. Like somebody pointed out when I was listening to NBA radio yesterday, I never thought about it, but he has a point. Former NBA player Eddie Johnson, he said back in his younger years, Russell, used to, jump so high on his jump shot, he was looking down at the rim and was hitting a lot more. Now he don't even elevate as high and he can't see the rim like that. And so it affects his jump shot. And being a shooter, I 100% agree with that. Like I never thought about it, but yeah, it's a lot of bad things. And being a 7-8 seed, that means they have to go in a playing game. And I'm pretty sure you don't want to be in that scenario at all whatsoever. So yeah, something they might have a come to Jesus moment before the trade deadline, because I'm pretty sure they're not picking up anybody in the buyout market, and nobody wants to go there. So
no.
Yeah, playing with LeBron and stuff. And then you see that team and all that was going on. It'll be tough to sell them for sure. But yeah, man, I just wanted the Lakers. What a disappointment. But they built for the postseason, y'all, and so maybe they'll get healthy, and maybe the Suns and the Warriors are overrated. We see what's been happening with the Warriors. Maybe they're overrated, and they feel like, hey, Memphis is a young team. We ain't worried about them. Luka's out of shape, Who's number 3 in the West right now? The Nuggets, like Nikola Jokic. That's all we got to worry about with him. Like,
yeah, they think that they want to and find out what happens firsthand.
Yeah, he just lost to them recently, didn't they? Yeah.
Oh, they got blew out. And so, yeah, man, the Lakers, definitely in a very unique scenario. One last question though, fellas. Which NBA big would you rather have on your team right now? And we can pull up stats or whatever, but Nikola Jokic, Rudy Gobert, or Joel Embiid. If you had to start an organization in Jamar, y'all GMs, y'all looking at these guys and y'all got an opportunity to pick up either one of them, which one would y'all take to start y'all team, man? So, who would you take first, bro? Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, or Rudy Gobert?
Embiid, I don't even really think it's close, in my opinion. When he has, I'll say this, when he has the attitude of to stay in the paint and then come back out on the perimeter, and he just has that dog mentality, he's arguably probably top 5 player in the league. Top 3 if you want to be. I mean, I don't think it's close. He's been pretty dominant this year. Kind of silently. He's been doing it all over there in Philly without being. So I'll take Embiid all day long.
Yeah, that's interesting. Jamar, what about yourself?
Ooh-wee. I am going to. So I was, stuck between the two. So just for the record, it's definitely not Gobert. You can get him out of here. Definitely not.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate, but I was kind of leaning this way anyway. I'm gonna take Jokic. I'm gonna take the Joker here, for a couple of reasons. One, he's more available than Embiid. Two, I was having this conversation with Mr. Dominique McKinney. Matter of fact, last night when I was telling him I was going over the script for today, and I mentioned that, and he said that the Joker is arguably the most skilled center that we have ever seen in the history of basketball. And
He's skilled, but no, Joel Embiid is more skilled. Yes. Joel Embiid, you ever just see the work he do with the ball, Jamar?
I get that. But
it's beautiful poetry, man. It's beautiful.
It is, but
Joker, he's not skilled. He's just, I don't know how he be scoring.
Dude,
you see how sloppy he playing, how sloppy
it's not even
it's
just
his
that.
Look.
I'm more so aiming towards his passing ability, because I don't think I've ever seen a big pass like this before. A big who got the vision of a point guard, like he over here dropping dimes like he Lonzo Ball out here at times. He out here really making his teammates better. He can stretch the floor. He can score in the post. He can hit the mid range. He can play pick and roll. He can play pick and pop. He can rebound. This man is averaging 26 and 14 right now. And he's doing it without Jamal Murray, without Michael Porter. Like this I mean, when he's healthy, he's out there dominating. He is. And he plays below the rim, and you don't really see that nowadays. So that's why I entertained the thought of him being like very elite skilled wise. And with that and his durability, like it's hard for me not to pick him.
Yeah, man. Y'all both make interesting arguments, and I love the fact that y'all both did contrasting arguments, because it makes it very entertaining and very just real.
You gonna pick Gobert?
I can't make a damn case for Gobert. He's only put there because he's like a big name for centers. That's it. He's good. He's good for lobs. Good for lobs and rebounds. But he can't score at all. Y'all know that. He can barely hit a free throw. On the other hand, man, Joel Embiid. I mean, it's hard between both. This is another tough one, y'all, because when Joel Embiid gets going, y'all see what this man is doing. He put up 47 points. Okay, y'all, 47 points in 25 minutes. And this was through three quarters. He set the whole fourth quarter, so which means they was kicking butt. Like, he put up 47 in 25 minutes. The only person to ever put up more, y'all, was Klay Thompson through 3 quarters. So Joel Embiid, when this man gets going, you see how good Philly is now. We was talking about this last week, Jamar, like between contenders and pretenders. Shout out to the Bulls, by the way. Like, I love my Bulls, but I'm worried if they were to play Philly, I think Philly would beat them because of Joel Embiid. Like, he does so much on the floor. Like, his stats, 28, 11, and 4. And so he's very underrated in regards to getting people involved as well. Although Jokic, I mean, you look at this man, he averaging 8 assists per game. 8. On top of 14 boards and 26. points. Whereas Joel Embiid, he's definitely putting the bucket in. When he gets you one-on-one, I don't think there's nobody in the league that can stop him. Once he got a one-on-one, he got a head of steam, y'all. It's very hard to stop. And so I don't know who I would. Damn it, I would take Joel Embiid just because. But I could totally see Nikola Jokic. I would take either one of them. Damn it, I'll take either one. Give me either one. I could work with either one. Like either one. They both.
Just not Gobert, right?
Not Gobert. You go Gobert. I would take him. If I don't have those two. If I don't have those two, I would take him. And you know, he'd be productive, right? He'd be very productive, boards, lobs, you know, get you about 10 points, you know.
But it's like with him, he's reliant on somebody else setting him up. At least the other two can get their own shot.
Yeah.
Gobert needs like a Donovan Mitchell, somebody to really help him out. These other two, they can do it by themselves.
Yeah, he can't create like the other two.
Right. Facts. And so, yeah, y'all, this is something that just it's really entertaining to watch both of them. And so lastly, y'all, before we head out for the weekend, who are y'all taking tonight? Francis Ngannou or Cyril Gane? Ngannou is champ right now. Cyril Gane is coming from France. He's kicking butt right now. This is a UFC match. And so you don't have to be an analyzer of this, but just quickly, who y'all got, fellas? Ian, let's begin with you.
I'm going with the champ tonight. I'm going with the champ.
Yeah.
Same here. I'm taking the champ.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the champ too, man. That right hook look like it's mean, and so real mean. And so he's 6'4" too, y'all. By the way, big dude. But a lot of people got Cyril Gane in this one, y'all. They do. And so it'll be very interesting to see the highlights and see what happened with it. And so with that being said, world, we thank you all for tuning in with us. We got a good amount of likes in a short amount of time, so that was pretty cool. And so thank you all for tuning in with us this morning. Please remember, however, y'all, that there's still an Omicron variant coming out, or that's out, and it'll be something else coming out soon from COVID. And hospitalizations from cases are still on the rise from coast to coast and internationally. So remember to please be careful. And if you are not vaccinated, do your part by wearing a mask and be careful out there. But on the other hand, please continue to chop it up with us and support our podcast, the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, on various platforms. And if you are and you would love to talk sports with us, we are here. We will love to do so with you. Your love and support is truly appreciated. And we hope you all have a blessed, safe, warm, and peaceful weekend. Peace.